March 21st, or National Poetry Month in April. So I have the pleasure of introducing to council Mr. Naden Parkin. Naden, if you want to come up and join us, I'll just, Mr. Parkin has recently released a book called A Relationship with Truth. He's a local guy, and Naden was born in Saskatchewan, and he says that he's a mix of hippie and farmer, but he writes his poetry from the perspective of the oil field and somebody who's obviously a familiar sort of perspective to many Grand Prairie residents. Naden, congratulations on the launch of your book. I understand it recently happened, and for council and the community's information, Naden is actually going to be embarking on a cross-Alberta tour where he'll be going to all the different chapters locations in Alberta, except for one, and be doing readings and promoting his book. So Naden's here to share actually a piece that, as I understand, is not in the book. And Naden, if you'd like to introduce yourself in any other way, other than that, I'll give it to you to take away.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I think that pretty much sums it up. I think I'll just get started here. I wake up and I wipe the sleep from my eyes. I was just dreaming. My life's just fine. But for reasons I need not describe, I've got to breathe in weed just to get by. Then I step outside and I let the frost hit my face. Another day. Caught in last place in this rat race. But hey, that's fate. When your last name's not ordained by his grace. Because I'll never be royal. I'll pay tax on this land till my back hits the soil. Then raise tax on man just to pay back what's borrowed. We're born to pay debt, not ours. Forever. Tomorrow. So I woke up and I wiped the tears from my cheeks. I took the fear from my heart and I expelled it through speech. I put my dreams in the stars, but I breathed reality. I let beams of light fill my dark, like it was heat from the east. I stepped outside and I let that sun burn my face. I let the wind burn my skin. And I let my tongue burn with taste. I let my lungs burn with smoke. And my love burn with hate. But then I let my love burn pure as my candle burns through fate. Because I'll never be immortal. The day comes when worms find my corpse resourceful. And the aged say it's short. So be brave or be woeful. That's why I say what's in my heart when I'm face to face with you, North folk. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Naden, for sharing with us. As I said, I want to recognize that Naden has a book that he's just recently released called A Relationship with Truth. I think he's got it subtitled A Poem and Verse Born in the Canadian Oil Patch. And I have to say that Naden is doing what you call true outreach in terms of the art world. Naden's book release party was actually at the Canadian Brew House. So I'm not sure if the Canadian Brew House is a regular place for poetry or for book releases, but I think we have to give Naden credit for reaching out to a different audience and ensuring that the arts and literary arts are recognized in our community. So Naden, thanks very much and congratulations. So again, that's the third time the City of Grand Prairie has participated in the Mayor's Poetry Challenge. Look forward to it every year and appreciate the poets who give of their time and their talent to share with us. So this is the delegation portion of our agenda. As I said before, this is an opportunity for anybody that wanted to address council on any community-related matter to come forward to the council table and introduce themselves, as long as it's not the subject matter isn't a public hearing that we'll be hearing a little bit later on. So I'll call one last time. If there's anybody else, if there's anybody that'd like to come forward to address council on any community-related matter, I see one other person coming forward. Come to the presenter's table and introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Brad Cameron. I'm the developer of the Cairn on the Boulevard, and I just want to come and thank council and the previous councils for all of their support. We actually opened the Cairn on the Boulevard, which is an affordable housing project that the city has been very supportive of, on, I guess, February 28th at about 4:15, and we had tenants moving in at 6:15, so it was a little closer than we wanted, but it was really quite exciting. Over that first weekend, which was like -30, there were probably 15 different groups that moved in there, or residents, I guess, units. And out of our 32 units that are available, I think 27 are already filled, with a number of them pending. Our fourth floor will be coming available at the start of April, and I know there's, start of April, and I know there's an awful lot of interest in that so far. So again, I just want to thank you guys very much for all of your support. It absolutely couldn't have happened without each of you helping directly and indirectly, I'm sure. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Mr. Cameron, for the update. Before you leave, Mr. Cameron, before you leave, the council members may have some questions. In fact, I see that there is one in the queue. Councillor McLean.
Mayor Gibbon, Brad, just a quick question on the new building. Is it about 80 units all total when it's all finished?
Yep, there's 83 units, 19 are market units, and 64 are affordable housing units. So really anyone can live in the Cairn. When you first apply, they'll ask for what your income level is, and if you're below the core needs income threshold set by the province of Alberta, then your rent is just cheaper. So.
Well, I just want to say thank you from this council and previous council as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McLean. Councillor Radburn.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Gibbon. Brad, can you just share with the group and I guess our audience in terms of what you're trying to do with the main floor?
Oh, thank you.
Where that's at?
Absolutely. So on the main floor, we have 8,500 square feet of commercial space. It's, again, available to just about any commercial group or office. Ideally, we'd like to see some of our social agencies in town come and work together in that area. And about 2 weeks ago, we toured 15 or so people from the different agencies in town, which was quite exciting. And since we've had residents move in, we've actually had quite a bit of interest in the commercial space. So that's quite exciting.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Radburn. Any other questions, Mr. Cameron? I don't see anybody else in the queue. Brad, thanks very much for giving the update, and thanks for your continued work on the Cairn. Can't wait to see it completely full.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay, so is there anybody else that wanted to come forward and give council an update, pass on a concern, or address council in any other way? I don't see anybody else coming forward. Now, is it true we have some GPRC students here? Welcome. We always wonder why we have such a great crowd, but from time to time we get GPRC students in to find out how our local government works in Grand Prairie. I just want to say welcome to all of you, and thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate having you here. I don't see anybody else coming forward, so I'll close the delegation portion of our agenda, and we move on. We had no public hearings. We did have one piece of unfinished business, and that's 7.1, Bylaw C 1260-2. Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I'll move the third reading be given to Bylaw C 1260-2 to amend the land use bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. If memory serves, this is one that we'd carried over a couple of times, and just so third and final reading on this rezoning, if I remember correctly. Any discussion or debate? Councillor Rice?
So this is a bylaw to change the land use bylaw map from local commercial to medium density residential?
That's correct, Councillor Rice. Just off 84th Avenue, in between the Mission, the existing density residential development there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Rice. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote on third reading. Thank you. And that motion carries. That takes us into the reports items. We'd start with 8.1, Bylaw C 1290B, the Meadowview Area Structure Plan Amendment, and I'd look for an introduction from administration. Community Growth Director, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bylaw C 1290B is presented for first reading and to set Monday, April 21st at 6:30 p.m. in council chambers for public hearing purposes. And this bylaw corrects a change that was previously approved for the PARDS site, which changed the zoning from recreation to single-family residential, and that was omitted when the new bylaw was adopted by council. So this simply corrects an error.
Okay. Thanks very much, Ms. Ferguson. Can we have a motion for first reading? Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move that bylaw C 1290B to amend the Meadowview Area Structure Plan be given first reading, established Monday, April 21st, 2014, 6:30 p.m. Oh,
I think we'll do them.
The second ones,
yeah,
okay.
We'll give first reading, and then we'll have the motion to establish the date, time, location after that. So we'll call for the vote on first reading of Bylaw C 1290B. Call for the vote now. Thank you.
I'll finish up.
That motion carries. Councilor McLean, would you like to finish up?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, I was going too fast there. And I also like to move to establish Monday, April 21st, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. in City Council Chamber as a date and time and location for the public hearing.
Thanks very much, Councilor McLean. Any discussion or debate on that motion as to date, time, and location that are being proposed? Seeing nobody ringing in, I will call for the vote. That motion carries. And so that'll take us into our regular committee business, starting with 9.1, the Community Living Committee from February 25th. Councillor Radburn, I believe that was your meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, this actually is something that was omitted last council meeting. This is two community living committee meetings ago. I had reported on this item, but it didn't come to council, and I think administration has since found that this lease arrangement must be passed or approved by council, not just by committee. So this is, the motion is that the council approve city enter into a lease amendment agreement with Providing Assistance, Counseling, and Education on Sexual Abuse, which is PACE, with respect to building improvements. So the original lease agreement had a covenant that required the city to provide an elevator in the building. And so with discussions with PACE, that's been changed. So no longer needs to be an elevator there. But the lease does cover HVAC system replacement, building management system installation, lighting efficiency upgrades, minor roof repair, and a platform stair lift, which will accommodate the needs of those who need that support. So that PACE board is fully supportive as it was brought to committee, and our committee was supportive of that arrangement as well. No change to budget. They had about the same budget as we had before. So it's just the motion really speaks to changing the lease amendment and that covenant that was in before.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Questions or comments? Seeing nobody ringing in, so I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Radburn, the next one was yours as well, I think.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, I would move that council receive the minutes of the Special Community Living Committee meeting held March 10th. And just for, I guess, information of everyone, this was a committee meeting that was held prior to last council meeting, and we actually dealt with the business from that at last council meeting, but it was the library expansion tender that was dealt with. So all we're doing today is approving or receiving the minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Radburn. Any discussion or debate on those minutes? Do they look like everything is in order? Good, thank you. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. I think that takes us to community growth, 9.3, Community Growth Committee from March 11th. Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. I move the council receive the minutes of the Community Growth Committee meeting held March 11th, 2014. And to speak on that, just if I could, we had a part of the meeting incorporated our web analysis talk about an open data policy, and it's one of the first steps identified in the city of Grand Prairie's open data project strategy. This is a policy that's formal commitment to the initiative and making the first steps this as a practice for the city's corporate culture.
Okay. So we'll have the motion to receive those minutes to start off with. Did anyone note anything out of order in the minutes? They look like they accurately reflect the meeting. Okay. Seeing nobody ringing in, I'll call for a vote on the minutes. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
And I'd also like to recommend the committee approve the open data policy 702 as presented.
Sure. Thanks very much. That's the policy that you just referenced?
Yes.
Great. Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on the motion to adopt this policy as council? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. I think I'm looking for one more, council. There we go. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Rice, did you have a question or a comment? Okay, Councillor Rice.
Could you tell me, Councillor O'Toole, when I maybe am getting ahead of myself, but when you make this next motion, any changes to the corporate communication plan from where it stood the day before your meeting?
Okay, well, thanks, Councillor Rice. So, Councillor McLean,
Yes, sir.
or O'Toole, excuse me. If you'd like to make the motion to get the topic on the table, and then we can have discussion and debate on the motion.
Okay. So I recommend the council approve the 2014 corporate communication plan as presented.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Councillor O'Toole, did you want to speak to any changes, or is there somebody from administration that'd like to highlight some of the significant changes?
Basically, we had communications and research coordinator presented a report regarding the 2014 City of Grand Prairie Corporate Communications Plan to realize communication excellence. If you need some more information, I can probably talk to David if he's our.
Sure. So we'll look to our marketing communications manager, Mr. Ollinger.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we did come forward with a new corporate communications plan. Last year, if you'll recall, we launched annual plans because with technology and other factors, we know that current practices will often be superseded by new advances. So we came forward with a new communications plan that incorporated elements of the citizen satisfaction survey. We surveyed different departments. We captured elements of the Activate GP and other things, and brought that all together in a new plan.
Thanks very much, Mr. Ollinger. Any other discussion, debate, questions, or comments? Councillor Rice, do you have something further?
Yep. It references additional surveys. So obviously there would be budget implications to that. Is that included in our budget, or is this something that needs to be tabled till the next budget?
From recollection, I think it references the use of more survey tools, and I'll defer to Mr. Ollinger, but I'm imagining that's probably free survey tools on specific issues as they come up. Mr. Ollinger?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Rice, we have a survey tool called Fluid Surveys, and we've been using it quite frequently, most recently with the Community Mobility Survey.
Is that a tool that the city subscribes to already within budget. And
That's correct.
discussion, Councilor Rice?
Yeah, we've had some concern expressed, particularly on the aquatics survey, that the survey was somewhat superficial and designed in such a way as to not receive meaningful input. And I'm wondering if this survey tool is our best tool.
I think, Councilor Rice, to speak to it, every survey really is about how you word the questions. And I would agree with you on the past surveys with regards to the future of the leisure center. The city, as you'll remember, council approved doing a community consultation on aquatics use, which will be happening. Is going to be substantially different than the previous one on just the leisure center. But you're 100% right. Every time we do a survey, I think that's what administration is highlighting, is the fact that they need to be a little bit more professional about consistent in how they approach it, to ensure that the wording is not leading or directing as maybe it has been in the past.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councilor O'Toole, anything else you want to highlight in that set of minutes from that meeting?
No, thank you, sir.
No? Thanks very much, Councilor O'Toole. So we'll move on to the Community Living Committee from March 11th. Councilor Redburn.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Thank you. I would move the council receive the minutes of the Community Living Committee meeting held March 11th, 2014.
Thanks very much, Councilor Redburn. Any discussion or debate on that set of minutes? Doesn't look like it's in place. Looks like it is so I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councilor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Given. So I have two motions relative to the multi-sport outdoor field renovation and Legion Track. This is a project that's been a long time coming. A number of years ago, the multi-sport area became overgrown with roots, and we had to dismantle everything. There were some tennis courts there. This is an area to the west of the Comp and Peace Wapiti Academy. So I think we tried a couple times. Once we didn't get a bidder. Second time that didn't meet budget. And so that led, actually, there was a silver lining in the fact that this led to some consultation with our community partners, the various groups using leisure center, schools, etc. Came up with a design that I think meets a number of purposes, and I'll just briefly give everyone an overview of that. So what this project will do will expand and improve our long jump, high jump, and javelin areas for track and field. Long jump was inside the football and the track area, and so we had to move it out, and we had to improve high jump and javelin. Run-up areas for javelin and run-up areas for the high jump. So part of this project, and it's important, is now that we have a track and field facility that can host a provincial and actually beyond competitions. That was something that was lacking, and we weren't able to host. So this project covers that part of the project. The other part is that we've now created a new multi-sport area in that area, and it will include tennis, volleyball, and some basketball area for free play, for whatever. And that will be really important for that area of our town, that community. The schools and the community can use this as unstructured use. The other thing, that the tennis courts will be upgraded, and we will have quality tennis courts again in that area of the city. So this is that's the total project. It's a combination track and field and multi-sport area. To do that, a couple motions need to happen. First of all, I'll make the motion that council approve an additional $248,445 from the future expenditure reserve to complete the multi-sport outdoor field renovation - Legion Track project for a total budget of $588,874.
Thanks very very much, Councillor Radburn. Discussion and debate on the motion, which is essentially adding that additional to the budget to meet the project cost. Councillor Rice.
Explain why the total budget is 588,874, but the next upcoming tender is for 445,548.
Thank you, Councilor
Radburn.
Rice. Yeah, I was going to mention that actually with the next motion. But yeah, the tender is for the servicing, providing the, I guess, base for the activities. The other 100,000 or whatever is for equipment.
Ah, thank you.
So that's why the total project is more than the tender.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Radburn. Other discussion debate, Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I look forward to this going through. My first year and my first term of council a few years ago, this was on the agenda, and for reasons it got delayed and the price kept escalating. So for taxpayers, I want to see this pass and go through. And the area is right, as Councillor Radburn said, for the area, the use it would get for youth and general public, but also this is a regional area. I look at it as with 2 county schools, and may quite possibly in May and June have another development of a pool maybe there coming towards council. So I look forward to voting yes to this.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Any further discussion debate? Seeing nobody else in the queue, then I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Radburn, you want to carry on with the second part?
Yes, thank you, McGibbon. I would move the council award tender T-04-435-14, multi-sport outdoor field renovation Legion track to Nelson Sand and Gravel Limited as the lowest bid, meeting specifications in the amount of $445,548.78, excluding GST.
Thanks, Councillor Radburn. And as you mentioned, the difference in the numbers is because this is essentially building the base, and then there's a small amount for materials or equipment on top. Thank you. Any further discussion or debate, or any discussion or debate on that motion? Don't see anybody in the queue, so I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries with one opposed. Councillor Radburn, anything? Oh, sorry, you did have another piece of business.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I would move that council approve the mayor's recommendation of Councillor Tarrant to the organizing committee for the 2015 Alberta Special Olympics Winter Games. This was in response to a letter we received from the organizing committee asking for a councillor as a representative, and this is the mayor's recommendation.
Thanks very much for that motion, Councillor Radburn. Any discussion or debate on the recommendation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Radburn, anything else you want to highlight to the minutes?
Just to add to that motion, the other, they did also ask for a admin to identify a staff member to support the games as well, and so that will happen administratively. In terms of the rest of the committee meeting, really dealt with some delegations. Odyssey House came, the Suicide Prevention Resource Center came, HIV North came, and those presentations are 5 to 10 minutes and really highlight how these groups have used monies that they have received for ongoing program in their respective organizations. So it's nice to get those updates and some, I guess, some successes and some challenges. We ask for those annually to keep us abreast of what's happening. The other group that came was the Volunteer Services Bureau, and they also received some money and did give us an update. But they also took advantage of the opportunity to ask for some funding requests. One was for their changing face and survival of the nonprofit organization conference they're hosting here in a month or two, and also some money to support their youth certification program. And the committee passed a motion to have admin look at those requests and come and bring back to committee a report outlining whether a recommendation as to whether we should, and if so, where funding sources might be found in our budget. Thank you, Mayor Gibbon.
Thanks very much for the update, Councillor Radburn. So we'll move on to the Arts Development, the 100th anniversary, 9.5, the 100th anniversary committee from March 12th. Councillor Rice.
I move that council receive the minutes of the 100th anniversary committee held March 12th.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any discussion or debate on comments? Seeing nothing, then I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Rice?
I move that council approve the renaming of Mission Heights Park number 7 to the John Macaulay Park. John Macaulay was one of the first business people in Grand Prairie. He was a partner in the Selkirk Trading Company. The Selkirk Trading Company was originally located in the building that now houses Al's News, and where Milano for Men now is was a shed where the trappers would bring their furs and put them to be stored and appraised. That was, as I said, John Macaulay was one of the original partners in that. This is the first naming. This is the naming of the first park, and we will work towards naming 100 parks over the year.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Very exciting to see this opportunity to recognize local history through the naming of these parks. And Councillor Rice, how have you been going so far for nominations? Are there more nominations needed?
Yes, absolutely. They've been quite a respectable number, and extremely good. It's fascinating reading, but yes, we would welcome more, and you can find the nomination form on the city's website under the 100th anniversary heading.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Discussion or debate on the motion? Councillor Tarrant.
Thank you, Mayor. Given just a question for Councillor Rice, is it anticipated that each of the names will be coming to council for approval? Is that all 100 names, or?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Tarrant. That looks like you have a question that others may have had as well. So any further discussion, debate on the motion? Seeing nothing else, then I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion is carried, and the first of our 100 parks in the 100th anniversary has been named. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Anything else you want to highlight from the 100th anniversary committee meeting?
Just that it's really getting busy on 100th anniversary activities. Every week there is at least one activity that's been identified, and the excitement is building on the homecoming to take place the August long weekend. Of course, coming up very soon is the Innovation Conference, which will happen May 23rd, 24th. Also the Fire Chiefs Conference and the Firemen's Conference, the Fire Fit Challenge, are both here at the same time, and it's very rare that the firemen and the fire chiefs have their conference in the same place at the same time. The Soapbox Derby is well underway in the capable hands of the Rotary Club. Symphony and Singing in the Park is going to take place June 6th. That should be an extremely incredible performance down in Muskasippi Park. The Century Play will kick off the middle of June. We'll have a citizenship ceremony here, as well as the 100 Years of Transportation. And Councillor O'Toole has arranged vintage cars, automobiles. If it moves, he's got it coming. So the anniversary book, which is absolutely awesome, will be introduced on the 28th of July. And as I mentioned, the homecoming is going to have a market in the park. The museum will be doing an old-fashioned carnival. There'll be a Heritage Village story tour, all manner of things. So, and still more people are coming forward every day to say we want to do something. County will be doing a salute to seniors. And so we're pleased with their participation on the committee.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice, for the update. I think a couple of your colleagues have some questions or comments for you. Councillor Radburn?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Given. To Councillor Rice, a couple of things I noticed in the minutes that you can update me on. One is that there was an anniversary event canceled, and so you can tell me what that was. And secondly, as there was mention that there are communities around who are asking to have our centennial float come to their parade. And so my question is, are we going to have a centennial float?
Councillor Rice?
At this point, it's not budgeted, no. We hope to, we have a community that had hoped to tie in their 100th anniversary with ours, and we are now exploring the possibility of sending a member of council from the committee to that event. They wanted to use our logo, but kind of doctoring up the swan. And the mayor said, no, that's not happening. The anniversary event that was canceled was an idea that was put forward that on the launch, to kick off or to celebrate the day, the actual signing day, council would dress in period costumes, and we said, no, that's kind of hokey. So we are now working on having a barbecue on that day, but you can wear your regular clothes.
I guess I should go, whoosh, no. Yeah, that's right.
Unless you've had them for a while.
Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbons. Councillor Rice, on the anniversary book, I know the date that it's coming out. Is all the corporation money that you're looking to help with the anniversary book done? Is there still openings? Is there a due date where corporations can't get in? That's the one I'm asking.
The book has already gone to print, and so we certainly would love someone to sponsor it, but the recognition would have to be added to the book as a flyleaf or something.
Thanks, Councillor Rice. And Councillor Clayton?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Just one quick question through to Councillor Rice. You may have already mentioned this, but can you say again for my benefit, is the best place for people to go to get updating current lists the WeGo North site, or where's the best place?
City of Grand Prairie 100th anniversary. If you go on the city's website, there is a right on the cover page, 100th anniversary. Just click on that. It has more detail than the WeGo North site.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Councillor Clayton? We'll move on to 9.6, the Arts Development Committee, and Councillor Tarrant, I think that was your committee.
Thank you, Mayor Given. So I will move that the minutes of the Arts Development Committee of March 14th be adopted.
Okay. Thanks, Councillor Tarrant. Any discussion or debate on that set of minutes? Anything that you want to highlight from the minutes, Councillor Tarrant?
Yeah, definitely. There was, we had the opportunity to give away 4 different scholarships to different students that have started their careers out in Grand Prairie and now have gone to be successful elsewhere or furthering their studies. So that was great. We also were able to give $1,500 to a local band, Tasman Jude, for a tour that they're going on, and we're proud of the homegrown local talent that we have here in Grand Prairie, and it's nice that we can, give them a little bit to help support them along their way.
Thanks very much, Councillor Tarrant. Any discussion or debate on that set of minutes? Seeing nobody ringing in, then I will call for the vote. Thank you. I think I need one more, Council. Some of these didn't take there. Thank you. That motion carries. We'd move on to 9.7, Community Safety Committee. Community Safety Committee, Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move council receive the minutes of the Community Safety Committee meeting held March 18, 2014.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Did anyone note any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Does it look like we've got everything straight? Looks like we do, so I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor McLean, I think you have some business coming out of this meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move that council approve an amendment of the capital plan to reallocate $50,000 to traffic signal preemption budget and $100,000 to the traffic signal repair and replacement program from the traffic signal timing project.
Thanks, Councillor McLean. Councillor McLean, if I remember correctly, there was some carryover, and we're able to do some signal preemption pilot for the fire department. Is that correct? To allow the emergency vehicles?
That's correct, Mayor Given, and some of it's going to be downtown as well, lighting.
Great. Thank you very much. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing nobody ringing in, I will call for the vote. That motion carries. We'll move on to 9.7.2. Councillor McLean, you've got a few readings of a bylaw for us.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move the council give first reading to bylaw C-1226A, animals and responsible pet ownership bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. There's no discussion or debate on first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move that council give second reading to bylaw C-1226A, animals and responsible pet ownership bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Open for discussion debate. Councillor Rice.
Maybe outline how it's different.
Sure, Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. It's a little bit of house cleaning. Maybe I'll send over to Horacio to speak to this if he's got it all updated there.
Sure, if our Community Safety Director could speak to the changes to this bylaw amendment. Mr. Galante.
And community service safety.
Mayor Given. As Councillor McLean mentioned, this is mostly a housekeeping report. As you may recall, Council enacted this bylaw some time ago, and performing the administration of the bylaw enforcement officers discovered a few inconsistencies in the numbering between some tables and the fines. So basically, this is a correction of those errors. It's mostly a housekeeping item.
Thanks very much, Mr. Galante. Any discussion debate? Councillor Rice.
I was somewhat surprised. If a person directs an animal to attack someone, that's a $500 fine. If the animal just goes ahead and attacks someone, that's $2,000. Almost seemed to me it should be the other way around. I mean, if somebody's an idiot and suggests their dog attack someone, I was just surprised at that kind of inconsistency.
I would be open to being corrected by administration, but I believe those may be specified minimum penalties. So I think there may be some latitude there, but I don't remember 100% correctly. Sorry. So, yeah, the fine amounts, penalty amounts haven't changed. So we approved it last time at the rates that you're highlighting.
Okay.
Any other discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote on second reading. Thank you. So as with any bylaw, change, we need to have 3 readings, and in order to have all 3 readings at the same meeting, you have to have a motion to have third reading. So it's a little bit of a complicated process. This motion to have third and final reading of this bylaw change here tonight has to pass unanimously. And if it does not pass unanimously, then this bylaw would come back at another city council meeting for us to finish off that third and final reading. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move that council have third reading of bylaw C-1226A, animals and responsible pet ownership bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. So this is that motion to have third and final reading here tonight. Any discussion or debate as to the merits of having third reading tonight? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, so that means that we can, in fact, have third and final reading here tonight and finish the amendment to the bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move that council give third reading to bylaw C-1226A, animals and responsible pet ownership bylaw. And just speaking to Councillor Rice before, no dog should be attacking. They're supposed to be on the leash.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Any discussion or debate on third and final reading? Seeing nobody ringing in, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor McLean, anything else you wanted to highlight from that set of minutes?
Oh, that's everything. Thank you, Mayor Given.
Great. Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. So we'll move to the Corporate Services Committee meeting from March 18th, and Councillor O'Toole, I think you stepped in to handle chairing that meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Mayor Given. Councillor Logan was away that day, and I took over chairman.
Please, yeah, sorry, I was just checking. Go ahead there, Councillor.
Okay. So I recommend council receive the minutes of the Corporate Services Committee meeting held March 18th, 2014.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So a motion to adopt that set of minutes. Any discussion or debate on the minutes as presented? See, Councillor McLean?
I don't know what's quite timing, but probably is, Mayor Given. I just had a question, and I don't know who can answer it. Maybe possibly Director Ken. For the seniors' property tax rebate, has it gone back to administration to look at and overview? Because I know we're not going to be voting on anything here. I just was interested in that one.
Corporate Services Director.
Yes, it is. Is this working?
That's on.
Yes, it is. It'll come back to a future Corporate Services Committee meeting with some options for the committee to consider.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. So we're still on the minutes. Any discussion or debate on the minutes as presented? Seeing nothing, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, you've got a lot of.
I'll be here for a few minutes, Mayor Given. The next one I have is recommend council approve the conduct of the, council approve the conduct of a biannual census beginning 2015.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Councillor Tarrant?
Thank you, Mayor Given. As you may have read in the minutes, we did not receive any bids for a census to happen this year, which was very unfortunate. We knew that there was a bit of a gamble going in. So, but I think going forward, if we could look at having a census in 2015, it'll give us a little bit more time to plan, how we want to do the census. We can think about some really good questions to ask as we do the census and provide us with some really good data. It'll also give us a chance to work with our city departments and different community groups to see what the most valuable data that we would need from our population would be. So would hope that council supports the conduct of a annual census beginning next year.
Thanks very much, Councillor Tarrant. Further discussion debate, Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I just want to thank Councillor Tarrant for bringing this forward about the census. And I know just recently in the Mayor's City Address, the age limit changed from 6 to 4 for children, more children than people over 65. So maybe by the time that this is done, it might be 3 and under. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McLean. Any further discussion or debate on the motion regarding the census? Seeing none, I will. Councillor O'Toole.
Yeah, one of the recommendations for doing the census was to possibly increase the ability to get more grants on a per capita basis, and that the city, we feel, is growing at about a 6.5% increase. So if we're losing that every 4 years with a census or 5 years, there's a lot of money that's actually sifting through our fingers that we'd like to capitalize on.
That's right. Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
Okay, I recommend council give first reading to bylaw C-1298. It's the 124th Avenue Local Improvement Project between 100th Street Service Road and 101st Street.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Motion for first reading. No discussion or debate on first reading. Call for the vote. Thank you. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give second reading to bylaw C-1298, the 124th Local Improvement Project between 100th Street Service Road and 101st Street.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. I wonder if we have two different bylaws dealing with this project, and I wonder if somebody from administration just could highlight what this bylaw covers and what the second one will be dealing with after covers. Mr. Anderson?
Sure. The first bylaw covers the part of the funding for it will come from the owners. I believe it's 65% comes from the owners and 35% comes from the city. So that's the first bylaw. The second bylaw is for the complete borrowing of the amount.
So this first bylaw that we're dealing with essentially fixes that split in the ratio, and then the second bylaw is actually to go and borrow the money to do the project.
That's correct.
Thanks very much, Mr. Anderson. I know somebody was bound to ask, and I didn't know the answer right off the top of my head. Thanks very much. So we're on second reading. Councillor Radburn, discussion and debate?
Thank you, Mayor Given. So Ken, do we borrow the full amount, and then the 65% we receive annually from the landowners of that payment?
Mr. Anderson?
How does it work?
That's correct. We borrow the full amount, and every year they pay us the portion that's applicable to them. That includes the interest piece as well.
10 years, I think.
I believe so.
Thanks very much. Councillor Rice.
So does that count against our total debt limit, or is that mitigated by the fact that we're getting the money from them?
Mr. Anderson.
It still does count towards our total debt, but it's less than $1 million, so it's not very significant.
Thanks, Councillor Rice. Mr. Anderson. Any further discussion or debate on second reading? Seeing nothing, then I'll call for the vote on second reading. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
Bylaw C-1298, the 124th Avenue Local Improvement Project between the 100th Street Service Road and 101st Street.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So motion to have
Never vote spending money on it.
Thank you. So this is the same as the previous bylaw. This is a motion to have third reading here tonight. Any discussion or debate on that motion? Seeing none, then I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, so we can indeed have third reading here tonight. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give third reading to bylaw C-1298, the 124th Avenue Local Improvement Project between 100th Street Service Road and 101st Street.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So third and final reading of this bylaw. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, you have another bylaw.
Okay, so this is the second part to this first one. This is the borrowing bylaw. And I move the council give first reading to bylaw C-1297 for the 124th Avenue, 101st Street local improvement.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So no discussion or debate on first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
And I move council give second reading to bylaw C-1297 for the 124th Avenue, 100 to 101st Street local improvement.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So motion for second reading. Any discussion or debate on second reading? Mr. Anderson clarified the difference between the two bylaws. This is the one that actually authorizes the city to borrow the money to finance that project. Any discussion or debate? Councillor Radburn.
Thank you, Mayor Given. At committee, administration was asked to ensure that the landowners were informed of the actual amounts. They'd been part of the discussions and negotiations for sure, but the actual final amount, I don't know if they had been informed. So, Ken, do you know if that had been done?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, they were informed on Friday afternoon via email. They were sent the bylaw, and they were also indicated that it was coming to the meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mr. Anderson. Thanks, Councillor Radburn. Any further discussion or debate on second reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, we can have that motion to have.
Okay, I move council have third reading of bylaw C-1297 for the 124th Avenue, 100 to 101st Street local improvement.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So again, this is a motion to have third and final reading here tonight. Once again, and as always, this motion must pass unanimously, otherwise the bylaw would come back at a future council meeting. I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, so we can have third and final reading. Councillor O'Toole.
I move council give third reading to bylaw C-1297 for the 124th Avenue, 100 to 101st Street local improvement.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion on third and final reading of this borrowing bylaw? Seeing nobody ringing in, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, you are not off the bylaw train, are you?
No.
Not by a long shot, yep.
So this next set of bylaws are annual type that we go to council and just kind of give yearly they come to council and committee every year. So the first one, I move that council give first reading to bylaw C-1300, the business tax and assessment, the 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. I just want to clarify from administration exactly what does the business tax and assessment bylaw deal with? Does it deal with a specific area of the city? Mr. Anderson?
Yes, it does, Mayor Given. It deals with the downtown area and it's the BRZ tax that's collected once per year.
Thanks, Mr. Anderson. So recognizing that this deals specifically with just the downtown area, Councillor Rice.
I'd like to declare a conflict for this bylaw 9.85 and 9.86.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So Councillor Rice declares a conflict of interest with the 3 bylaws in a row as they all deal with the downtown area. The Downtown Association is Councillor Rice's employer. So I will call for the vote on first reading. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move council give second reading to bylaw C-1300, business tax and assessment 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on second reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
And I move the council have third reading of bylaw C-1300, business tax and assessment 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. And again, this is one of those motion to have third reading here tonight. Any discussion or debate on the merits of having third reading? Seeing nobody ringing in, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, so we can have third reading. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give third reading to bylaw C-1300, business tax and assessment 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on third and final reading? Seeing nobody ringing in, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, 9.8.5.
Yeah, this is the budget, the downtown business revitalization zone business tax 2014 bylaw C-1301, and I move the council give first reading to this bylaw C-1301 as it's the downtown business revitalization zone tax 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any, excuse me, no discussion or debate on first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move council give second reading to bylaw C-1301, downtown BRZ tax 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on second reading? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
And I move that council have third reading of bylaw C-1301, downtown BRZ tax 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion, debate on the merits of having third reading here tonight? Seeing nobody ringing in, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, we can have third reading.
I move the council give third reading to bylaw C-1301, downtown BRZ tax 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion, debate on third reading? Seeing nothing, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, you had another downtown BRZ.
Yes. So 9.8.6, it's the downtown BRZ business tax rate. And I move the council give first reading to the bylaw C-1302, downtown BRZ tax rate 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on, excuse me, first reading? No discussion or debate on first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
And I move council give second reading to bylaw C-1302, downtown BRZ tax business tax rate 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion and debate on second reading? Councillor Radburn, thank you. It was about time.
To do, Mayor Given, is ask administration, ask Ken to just give us in layman's terms for the students the progression of these three bylaws and what they actually do.
Thanks, Councillor Radburn. Mr. Anderson?
The first bylaw sets the assessment method, the way that they evaluate the value of the property downtown. The second bylaw establishes the legal right to have a tax, and the third bylaw actually sets the rate of the tax.
Thanks for that explanation, Mr. Anderson. And that was purely for the benefit of the students. It's always and all the viewers. Yeah. Thanks very much, Mr. Anderson and Councillor Radburn, for asking that question. Now I've lost my place. We're on second reading, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'll call for second reading of bylaw C 1302. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
And I move the council have third reading of bylaw C-1302, downtown BRZ business tax rate 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So again, this is another motion that must carry unanimously for us to have third and final reading of this bylaw here tonight. Any discussion, debate as to the merits of having third and final reading tonight? Seeing nobody ringing in, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, we can have third reading.
And I move the council give third reading to bylaw C-1302, downtown BRZ business tax rate 2014 bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion, debate on third and final reading of this business tax rate bylaw? Seeing nothing, I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. That's the three bylaws dealing with the downtown area. I think we can call Councillor Rice back to the council chambers before we move on to the next item. She is. And Councillor O'Toole, I guess you're still not off the hook. You've got two more that are regular pieces of business, annual pieces of business, and I'll ask you to move on with 9.8.7.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor Given. You are correct. These are annual tax assessment bylaws that need to go into annual committee and council chambers to vote on. So the 2014 supplementary property assessment bylaw C-1303. I move the council give first reading to bylaw C-1303, the 2014 supplementary assessment bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So no discussion, debate on first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give second reading to bylaw C-1303, 2014 supplementary assessment bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. I wonder if we could have another reminder from administration about what the supplementary assessment bylaw allows the city to do. Mr. Anderson?
Well, these two bylaws, the first one's the assessment, the second one's the taxation. What it does is if improvements are started in the beginning of 2014 and completed in 2014, that they are taxed for the year. That provides fairness with people who have completed their improvements in 2013. So it's one of fairness, and we've done it for many years here.
Thanks very much, Mr. Anderson. Any further discussion, debate on second reading? Not seeing anybody ringing in, so I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council have third reading of bylaw C-1303, the 2014 supplementary assessment bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So again, this is another one of those move to have third reading here tonight. Let's pass unanimously for it to carry on tonight. Any discussion or debate on having third reading? Is anybody ringing in? So I will call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, so we can have third reading. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give third reading to bylaw C-1303, 2014 supplementary assessment bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Discussion, debate on third and final reading of the supplementary assessment bylaw. Seeing nothing, I will call for the vote. Thank you. Motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, I think you have one left.
9.8.8, the 2014 Supplementary Property Tax Bylaw C 1304. And I move council give first reading to Bylaw C-1304, the 2014 Supplementary Property Tax Bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. No discussion or debate on first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give second reading to Bylaw C-1304, the 2014 Supplementary Property Tax Bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion, debate on second reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council have third reading of Bylaw C-1304, the 2014 Supplementary Property Tax Bylaw.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Again, another motion to have third reading here tonight. As with all the rest, must pass unanimously in order for us to have third and final reading of the motion here. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole.
I move the council give third reading to Bylaw C-1304, the 2014 Supplementary Property Tax Bylaw.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on third and final reading of Bylaw C-1304? Seeing nobody in the queue, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor O'Toole, is there anything else from that meeting that you wanted to cover? Could there possibly be anything else?
Well, Councillor McLean did bring up the seniors tax, and it was a program that was set up by the Alberta government, and they've shut it down. So our administration is looking at it as corporate service director can.
Sure. Just to clarify, I think the province had a program that they've discontinued, which we were piggybacking on essentially, and because they've discontinued that program, it makes it challenging for the city to continue to administer its property tax rebate for seniors, and the committee asked administration to identify opportunities for us to continue that program. So hopefully we'll have some news coming forward.
Absolutely.
As Director Anderson mentioned. Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Well, that handles all of our committee business for tonight. I'm so glad our GPRC students could be here for an exciting, action-packed council agenda. You got to see more motions than happen in like 5 regular council meetings. So there were a lot of votes. They might not have been exciting, but there was a lot of them. We do have a couple other items on our agenda. We did have one delegation. Maybe we could have a motion to receive the Mayor's Poetry Challenge presentation from Mr. Nathan Parkin for information. Councillor Rice. Great. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Call for the vote. Or sorry, discussion and debate. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion is passed. That delegation has been received. There were no notices of motion, and so we'll go to council member reports. We'll start with Councillor Rice and a report from her work at the AUMA, Alberta Urban Municipalities Association. Councillor Rice.
Long report tonight. I attended an ARMA meeting. I just want to bring council up to date. In 2013, electronics that were recycled were 757,000 TVs and computers. That's a lot of TVs and computers. After you drop your electronics off at the recycling depots, they're picked up and taken to one of 7 recycling facilities located in Alberta. The recyclers sort the material and take apart the TVs and computer equipment, separating them into 3 components: metal, glass, and plastics. And those recyclers are required to destroy the hard drives from computers, of course, so that ensuring personal information is destroyed. The commodities are then shipped to companies that use them to manufacture new products. No computer equipment or TVs are sent to third world countries, and any potentially hazardous materials are removed from Alberta's waste stream. In tires, in 2013, Albertans recycled over 5 million tires. Again, it's become one of the best world-making tire recycling provinces in the world. Alberta's paint recycling, what happened is over 2 million liters of leftover and unwanted paint were recycled, and each can of old latex paint is taken to an Alberta-based recycler who processes it into a variety of colors for exterior and interior use, and this is sold at various outlets throughout the province. Oil-based paint is bulked into 45-gallon drums and shipped to companies that use it for energy recovery, and spray paint cans are crushed and sent to scrap metal dealers for processing into such products as rebar, and that one is getting a lot of attention from ARMA as really the spray can containers. We need to get more of those into the recycling stream as opposed to the waste stream. So I think some really exciting statistics there. Also met with Ministers Campbell, Environment Minister McQueen, who is the Energy Minister, and Griffiths, who is Service Alberta. So a lot of meetings. We, of course, met with the Premier and Minister Hughes. So a lot of meetings. Somewhat frustration. I don't know if this is part of my roundtable report, but there's also a joke that I am obsessed with the street light replacement program, and when we met with Minister McQueen, as we finished our presentation, I said, there's one more thing we need to talk about, and she said, streetlight replacement, right? And so I have spent lots of time in the last couple of years beating on the ministers on this project, because I believe the cost saving for municipalities would be phenomenal. Somewhat frustrating to me to have the Minister of Environment say, why would I go ahead with this program when all the municipalities are doing it themselves? They are not waiting, they're forging ahead, and come back and have a presentation from a consultant recommending Grand Prairie go ahead and replace our lights. And I thought, I would really rather have the province pay for it than us pay for it. But that's what's happening is, as we kind of inch forward and then the municipalities start doing it. So that removes that onus from the province, which is quite frustrating.
Councillor Rice, thanks very much for the update, and thanks for your work at AUMA. Councillor Clayton, I believe you had Nighthawk Recreation Area.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Recently I met with the Nighthawk Committee. We had a long, lengthy discussion on upcoming events at the Hill. They're very looking forward to the Zulu Challenge being hosted there. Overall, a decent winter. Although they were fortunate enough to make snow early in the year, they're going to have snow right up until the end, which is this coming weekend, the end of March. However, with a lot of cold spell and some mechanical issues on the hill, it wasn't financially as successful as the season as they had hoped. And the committee will be coming to council for further discussion on financial contributions and partnerships from municipalities across the region. So there's lots of information to come forward in the future, and that's about all I have on that for now.
Thanks, Councillor Clayton. Yep. Councillor Clayton, I think you're next up to Grand Prairie Sports Council.
You bet. Grand Prairie Sports Council has been very busy, very active. They had a great turnout for a meeting recently that included many sort of umbrella organizations, the Be Fit for Life people, the college, high school organizations, and sort of roundtable discussion on how everybody can benefit each other to make everybody a little more cohesive in multi-sport happenings in Grand Prairie, as well as future growth in tournaments, and there's the four strategic drivers for Sport Council, sort of letting all these organizations know and everybody figuring out where their fit is. I think that there's been a lot of doors open so far, and the Sport Council so far has been doing a great job on getting the word out there. They're very, in their infancy as an organization. But I think so far there's been a lot of players at the table, and we're going to see some great things from them in the future.
Thanks very much, Councillor Clayton. Councillor Thiessen, I think you had two reports for us.
I sure did. Thank you, Mayor Given. First to report, cheers. First to report, I had a library board meeting after our last council meeting on March the 11th. We had it at the Peace Library System, which was quite nice. A nice change of scenery. Plus, we all got a tour of the Peace Library System and saw how the two organizations correlate and interact with each other. It's quite a unique system, and it was really excellent to be taken through there. I do have some good news to bring on the library's behalf. At our last council meeting, we approved $108,000 from the city to go into their renovations for their new space, or I guess their leftover space. That's to be used for programming. Just recently, shortly after that council meeting, in fact, the province announced that the library was awarded a CFEP grant totaling $125,000, which is going to help them finish off that space without incurring too much cost. So when it rains money, it pours money, I guess, and the library is very fortunate at this stage of the game. And on behalf of the library, I was told by Maureen Curry to thank council once again, and I'm sure she's already thanking Reeve Everett McDonald for, well, I guess not Reeve, but Mr. McDonald for his contribution from the province. The other report that I have to give is on the Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance. We just recently had our AGM this past Friday on March 21st. It was at this meeting in Peace River that we were to finalize the state of the watershed report so that we could have it turned into the province and posted online by March 26th. So it should be out there by this week. I'm pleased to report that all the changes that were recommended by the board were put into effect in into the state of the watershed agreement from the consultants. And now we can move forward. Also at that AGM, we had presentations from the North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance, which is Alberta's oldest watershed alliance, telling us the work is far from done. Like, it's been a almost 4-year process to get the state of the watershed report out, and now it'll be out into the public within a matter of a week. From there, it's taken the next steps to ensure that we can keep our watershed here that feeds so many different tributaries and rivers and streams and lakes in northern Alberta. We can keep it clean and safe from any sort of pollutants caused by agriculture, forest harvesting, mining, oil and gas, and development as well. So we are ready to dig in our heels, but for now, we're taking a break because it has been many, many meetings over the past 5 months, and so we're taking 2 months off of the meetings, which is a welcome reprieve, I think, for the executive there, because they have been burning the midnight oil for the past 4 months at least to get the state of the watershed out there. I'd also like to request, I don't know if it's my right to request at all, but due to the long-standing work that needs to be done with the watershed, I would like to at least put my name forward to sit on this committee through the duration of my council term, if that's at all possible, and or pick up another councillor, because I think all hands in make light of work, and I'm just beginning to grasp the knowledge that's been presented in papers after papers after papers of information, and I'd like to be able to put it to use before the end of this term. So.
Sure, and with Councilmember, Councillor Aberrn said talk to the mayor. With our council appointments, we appoint council members to all the external agencies, boards, and commissions in our standing committees of council on an annual basis. And so we do that as a regular part of our organizational meeting every year. And at that time, we sort of look at workload, make sure we balance workload, and certainly continuity for representatives on committees is one of the major considerations. So certainly take that under advisement when the time comes next October.
Awesome. All right, I'll be waiting.
Thanks.
My fingernails down to the bone.
Okay. So we would start with Councilmember Roundtable. Councillor Rice, you can start.
Well, okay, I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
Didn't we have somebody on the Peace Watershed Committee?
Yeah, Councillor Wong is no longer councillor.
Okay, so who'd we put there? Well, how is this
Thiessen.
different?
Councillor Thiessen.
I'm the same guy. I'm technically dead. and
He's,
won't fill in.
he's actually just asking in advance of next October to be reappointed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Unless you want to come
That was
and,
very,
join me.
very
He
confusing.
started the lobbying
Yeah,
very,
all
very
right.
early.
And publicly.
I've heard of lobbying, but this is ridiculous.
Please put me on the watershed, please.
Okay, Councillor
Okay.
Rice, if you want to start with the roundtable,
All
we'll
right,
work
as I
you to Councillor Thiessen.
mentioned, I attended the workshop with the consultant talking about street light standards. I attended the volunteer recognition held by the city at Center 2000, and kudos to the department for the wonderful job they did and in showing our appreciation to the volunteers on our various boards and committees. I attended the city-county joint recreation committee meeting, which was quite interesting. There ended up only being one person who had been there before, and Reeve Beaupre was late because she had another commitment in Beaver Lodge. So we made all sorts of progress forward, only to have her come in and say, "Yeah, we already did that all last year." And we're like, "Oh, okay." But I think it was very interesting. I think there's some potential there for that committee to really get its teeth into things. And on Saturday, I attended the Municipal Leaders Panel Heritage discussion at the museum. Absolutely fascinating, organized by the Museum and the Heritage Society, where they had former Mayor Hugh Impey, myself, former Councillor Heath, and His Worship Mayor Given, talking about what was your first memory of Grand Prairie. Of course, Mayor Givens was quite different. And then talked about, the audience was then invited as we talked about things that used to be in Grand Prairie and how the evolution of the community. It was so enjoyed by some members of the audience that there are plans afoot to do a replication of it during the official signing day kickoff. It was very fascinating. And just when you think you know all of Grand Prairie's history, you learn something new. So that was very good. One of the things that I didn't do, but I'm going to do, and I deliberately didn't mention it during the 100th anniversary report because I wanted to highlight it, is that this Sunday, the world-renowned opera singer Ben Heppner will be appearing at the college. That's part of the college's 100th anniversary presentation. So I think there are still a few tickets left. I wouldn't dawdle around, but that's taking place Sunday night at the college.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice, for that report. Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you, Mayor Bill. I guess, I had a fairly busy week myself, busy 2 weeks, in fact. Starting with March 12th, I was at École Nouvelle Frontière School with several members of council on behalf of to just have a council sit down with the French Association School Board to talk about, the advancements that they're making in their school, different renovations, and their hopeful lobby efforts to get a larger school, perhaps even another school in down the road, of course. Then on March 13th, I took part with almost every member of council and past council members for the State of the City address. Wanted to highlight that because I just wanted to say that I thought you did quite a fine job on behalf of the city, presenting the state of the city and what we had talked about in our strategic planning session. So I was very proud to be on council that day. On March 19th, I too was at the consultation on the street lights and changing them over. March 20th, I was at the Teresa Sargent Hall with members of council for the community mobility plan consultation with the public. We're trying to roll it out and get I guess, public input as to how we can make our mobility plan within the community a lot better. And then this weekend on March 23rd, on Sunday, I had a tour of the Grand Prairie Performing Arts Center down at the community village.
But did you get a haircut?
I did not get a haircut, Helen, but I did watch Councillor Tarrant get a little off the top, Councillor Radburn get a little off the side and the back, and I took a lot off my face there too. So it was quite nice and very generous of the ladies from She-Man's Hairstyling to do that for us as a thank you for the GP Performing Arts place. And finally, I wanted to highlight this because I thought it was a really excellent event that I attended on Saturdays, Rising Above, their 6th annual banquet to celebrate their successes and to fundraise for things that they do within the community involving homelessness and helping people recover from addictions issues and other stuff like that through faith. I was able to bring greetings on behalf of Mayor and Council, and I was quite proud to do so there. I also was privy at that time to a story about Glenn Rigler. I don't know if that name is familiar to many of you, but just before Christmas, there was a guy that was hanging in the crane on one of the busiest corners in like minus 30 to minus 45 degree weather to raise money for Rising Above, as they have to find new and innovative ways to raise money since the province and city withdrew funding them. But he managed to raise over $80,000 for the Rising Above Society simply by freezing his little keister off for 3 days on the busiest shopping weekend before Christmas. I don't know if this is out of order or not, but I would say that that is an outstanding achievement award. And if down the line someone might want to nominate this young man, although it was only for 3 days, that's 72 hours of minus 40 weather, which is an achievement of a lifetime, considering that not only did he raise 80,000 for Rising Above, but he could have died up there. And I would like to put his name forward for George Repka in years future, if unless that's out of order. I see Councillor Radburn grimacing over there, but I thought it was amazing.
Well, obviously, thanks, Councillor Thiessen. Obviously, anybody can nominate for any of the city's awards, and all the criteria are posted online, so a person can have a look and see if your nominee might fit. Anything else, Councillor Thiessen?
No, that's everything. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks very much, Councillor Thiessen. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. March 11th, I attended a council committee of the whole meeting. March 13th as well, I was at the State of the City address by yourself, Mayor, and you did do a very good job. As I said before, we've gone from 6 to 4 with children under the age of 4 than people living 65 or older in the city of Grand Prairie. So you can tell where our city is going for youth, and it is going to grow. The last 20 years will be nothing the next 20 years. March 13th, 14th, I attended on behalf of the Mayor and Council Athabasca Northern Alberta's Leader Summit. A couple things I want to speak to that. It was the most well-organized summit that I've seen for leadership. We had lots of county reeves, MD, lots of chiefs, councillors, mayors, and it was so well-organized. I really want to go next year. And how the format was, they'd have like 3-4 rooms of 20, and you'd have a main minister come in, speak, and ask questions. And, you know, one of them I asked Wayne Drysdale about transportation. The north is taking a hit. If you travel a lot of our roads, they're getting pounded out by the oil field. It's getting dangerous, some of our roads. And they help city in Edmonton and Calgary with a lot of Anthony Henway and everything. And they're looking to the north to start fixing it up before we see a lot more accidents on our roads. So and the other thing I'll speak to is the premier, first elected female premier, no matter what person's political beliefs are. She was there and she had a generous smile to me and hello when I had a picture taken with her. And then you notice the day before her last day in the legislature, going hand in hand with her daughter to the legislature. Politics sometimes could be a different game, but she is a mom, and I wish her all the best. On March 19th, I also attended the meeting at City Hall to discuss streetlight standards, and I'd asked the college students here, you can Google this up for LED. We do have some in the city downtown. Some of them you'll see on the higher post. You can't really tell quite, but if you look there on each corner of the new light post downtown, and if you would have like from one area to a whole block, you could see the difference of the brightness. It really brightens it up compared to the old style bulbs. So you can get a little bit of indication, but until we start connecting, you won't really notice. And as Helen Rice, we're already starting the process. Maybe that's hitting us in the way it shouldn't be. So I'm glad for that. Another one was March 20th. March 20th, I had attended the Pursuit of Excellence Committee meeting. That went over very well. And March 20th again, community discussion mobility plan, which we're speaking to. And I'll keep bringing up about our youth. If we don't start connecting our neighborhoods, we're going to have more accidents and more incidents in our city, and we're going to have to connect it a lot better. And I look forward to the future mobility plan being done and implemented. And March 21st, I also attended a tender opening and this one I'm pretty excited about, for opening playground structures, North Bear Creek Park Trails, and landscaping consultant. And that'd be where Center 2000 is, and you go underneath the bridge, and it'll be on the other side of the road. So it's actually very good. So if you're from Royal Oaks and you're young children, you could have a different way of getting underneath that road, which is a very dangerous road in our city for traffic. So there was 4 bids, and should be coming to community living in the near future. Thank you, Mayor Gibbon.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Councillor Redburn.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. In addition to my regular Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association Board and Grand Spirit Board meetings, just like to highlight some of the others. Chris mentioned the Francophone School Board Council information sharing. I thought it was well, and one of the highlights for all of us really was that their students actually prepared the lunch as part of their course curriculum. But we all agreed that they should have been evaluated A+ by their teachers. Wild Rose Manor Award Supper. I went to Wild Rose Manor Award Supper. I've gone most years, and it's just a really fun evening. It happened to be on St. Patrick's Day this year, and so that added to this special occasion where they recognize residents who have been there for a while, and also staff. And there was actually a 20-year and a 25-year-old staff members recognized for their service for Grand Spirit that evening. I also, on behalf of council, took part in a CAO evaluation webinar. Actually, it was sponsored by the EUMA, and they had a consultant who led that webinar. So I was able to see, that's Chief Administrative Officer for our students in the crowd. But it's all, it's provided some ideas in terms of as we annually evaluate our city manager. In this case, there's some ideas that I'll be able to share with Mayor Gibbon and our city manager. Also went to the City Volunteers Recognition event, so thank you to Jennifer and her team for hosting that. And then we went, a couple of us went, 3 of us actually went from there to the Grand Prairie Old Timers Association annual banquet and auction fundraiser, and they raised significant amounts of money. 5 Mile Hall was packed, and was really a fun event and well done. And then March 22nd, Catholic Family Services auction and fundraiser. So I represented council that evening. Again, it was a good event, well attended, and they raised significant money to continue their counseling and support services they provide to the whole community. So very worthwhile cause. And I also did participate, as Chris so articulately stated. I did receive a haircut, as much of a haircut as I can get. And we did receive a tour of the facility and some of the capital upgrades that council has supported, and received some background in terms of their future goals. So, thank you, Mayor Gibbon.
Councillor Redburn and Councillor Tarrant.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. Well, like always, busy couple weeks. On the 12th, I attended the Francophone School Board, and it was a great meeting. Got a great tour of the facilities, and it's good to see that they're bustling and that the French community is thriving, is alive and well in the youth and in our the students of the school. 13th, State of the City. It was great. The mayor did a great job there. On the 18th, I was able to attend a physical literacy workshop that was put on by, I think it was in partnership with the Recreation Department and several other organizations in town. So it was great to see some of the things, some of the work that people are doing to encourage children to get moving and to get people, kids walking to school, and a number of different initiatives there. So it was good to see that good work being done in that area. On the 19th, volunteer recognition. Kudos to the staff that set that up. It was a great event, and I think the volunteers really appreciated everything we did there. That night, there was the Old Timers Association, as Councillor Radbourne had mentioned. It was awesome to sit down and chat with several people that were, from way back when, and just to kind of get their perspective on how things have changed. The 20th, there was the community discussion on the mobility plan. Again, I want to give kudos to staff. I think that the way it was laid out was very well done. It was very well received. It was very user friendly. People that came were easily able to identify priorities where we need to put some our efforts, and I think that was well appreciated. On the 22nd, attended Rising Above with Councillor Thiessen, and it was great to see some of the work that they were doing, and packed, probably one of the the most packed fundraisers I've been to lately. It was great to see that there's so much support for this organization, and I hope it continues to thrive. And then I just want to especially note on the 21st, we had the City-County Joint Recreation Board. And I know a lot of times we get a little bit of flack, maybe that there's, not as great a relationship with the county, but I think this is, one of the joint committees that really shows that, we have a really good relationship. We had some good talks come out of there. We're going to be looking at developing a joint recreation plan so that as we develop our trail systems, we're making sure that they're connected and that we're really looking at what the recreation priorities are for the region and not just for city and county. So it was great to be part of that discussion, and look forward to more great things from that committee.
Thanks very much, Mr. Tarrant. Councillor Clayton.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I also attended many of the events that other councillors attended, so I won't mention them all, but definitely one of the highlights was, as Councillor Tarrant just mentioned, the City-County Joint Recreation discussion was a great discussion, and I think there's a lot of opportunities there for us to collaborate as a region in regards to athletics and recreation. The one thing that wasn't mentioned that I attended and some other councillors did as well is the Pursuit of Excellence meeting, and we'll report on that next time. But there was a great meeting, and some nice things came out of that. And other than that, I just want to say that I'm going on vacation tomorrow for 2 weeks, so everybody take care of everything and don't do too many things I wouldn't do. And anyways, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Clayton. Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. I attended 21 events this last from the 11th to the 24th. It's impossible to attend all of the events because there was so many scheduled in that time period. But I do want to highlight 2 of them. I attended and gave greetings and spoke on behalf of the flag raising at City Hall on Wednesday, March 12th. It was to signify the end of the Afghanistan occupation. There was members from the Legion, the Anavets, and the Army and Air Cadet Corps. They were present to hear my words on behalf of the city and the mayor. And I was very honored that we had 2 military personnel from Grande Prairie that served, one in 2003, his name is Curtis King, and Darren Hewitt served in 2003 and 2009, and it was a very somber moment when they were there. They had lots of discussion while they were there, talking to some of the people that were in attendance. Also, the GP District Old Timers Association, I gave greetings on behalf of the mayor and council. It's a unique organization. You had to become a true member of this group. You had to be here before the rail system was here. So most of the people that have relatives or ancestors took the Edson Trail or other trails to get here to Grande Prairie. So you could be married and your wife could be a member, but you would have to be the charter member or vice versa. And it's a really unique experience when a couple have a child and their child marries somebody that's actually member of the association by marriage and ancestry, and so then they get back onto the par again. So 1916 is the cutoff date. So prior to that, you're good. After that, you're not a member. So, that was my report, sir.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. So there were a number of events that I attended that council members have already mentioned. So I'll just highlight in on a couple that I did and where council members weren't there. I was able to offer a quick tour of City Hall and council chambers to a group from Accredited Supportive Living Services. It was great to be able to welcome these members of our community into City Hall and tell them a little bit about what goes on here in council and how we make our decisions. I, of course, attended the State of the City address. It was a darn fine presentation by that guy that was up there. I just highlighted it because I do want to say thank you very much to administration in marketing and communications and strategic services who put a lot of effort into helping organize that. And so thanks very much, David and Sean, everybody else that helped put that together so that we were able to communicate council's priorities and the direction of the city on behalf of council to the community. So thanks very much to administration for all their help in organizing that. On the 14th, Friday the 14th, I hosted my first Coffee with the Mayor. It was an opportunity for anybody in the community to come forward and sit and have a little bit of a chat in an informal sort of forum. We met downtown at Laurel's Preserves and had a chat for about an hour and discussing some of the things that council had put in our strategic plan, some of the direction that we've set. And I really appreciated the opportunity. The people who attended appreciated the opportunity, I think, as well. And so I think I'm going to look at making that a regular item for myself to make myself available to the community, and I think we'd probably do it at different times of day, maybe some different locations, but I think it really fits in the theme with councils looking to work on communication and engagement. I think this has proved to be a good opportunity. On Wednesday the 19th, I had an opportunity to host the Mayor of Whitecourt. Marianne Chichek was in Grand Prairie. She's on the AUMA board with Councillor Rice, but she was here to sort of explore Grand Prairie, learn a little bit more. This is her first term as mayor, and she wanted to get a sense of how Grand Prairie's handled the growth pressures that we've had in the past and some of the challenges that we've had and opportunities coming from that as she foresees her community going through a significant period of growth, and she wanted to see if there's anything we could learn and share. And I can report to council that there were a number of things that I was able to learn from her and from the Whitecourt experience that hopefully I'll be able to bring back here to Grand Prairie. On Thursday the 20th, I was back in City Council chambers in the morning to host a group of students from École Nouvelle Frontière, the Francophone school, and it was a pleasure to host them. I required them to ask all of their questions in French and then to ask them again in English so that I could understand them. But it was great to have them here. And then later that afternoon, I attended a meeting of the Family Violence Prevention Network. I was able to host them here in City Hall, opening up one of our committee rooms so that they could have their regular meeting. And then on Friday the 21st, I was headed down to Edmonton on some non-city business, but with some extra time to fill in my calendar. So I had a chance to meet with a couple Edmonton City Council members in the morning to discuss the MGA review and some other things that are happening. And then in the afternoon, I had planned to meet with Mayor Roxanne Carr of Strathcona County. Had set up that meeting, and on my way out to meeting her at 1 o'clock, I had a call from her office saying that there was a hockey tournament in town and there was a Grand Prairie team, and asked if I could invited me to attend. So I was able to get out there and welcome, bring greetings to our Grand Prairie Female Bantam Knights and give them a little bit of encouragement as they headed into provincials. So I thank Mayor Carr for that. And then afterwards, we had a chance to go back to her office and discuss some opportunities and some of the similarities between her municipality and our region, and just what we might be able to learn from that. So it was a really insightful discussion, and I think there'll be more coming from that. Just this afternoon, I had an opportunity to meet with MLA McDonald to discuss some of the, again, some of the things that are going on with regard to the MGA review and some of the other local issues that are happening. Certainly appreciate MLA McDonald making a call to see if we had an opportunity to sit down and chat. And again, that was a worthwhile conversation, and look to do more of those into the future. With that, that's all I had to report, and we'll call our meeting adjourned. Thanks very much.